been playing a little bit on the piano. Do you write most of your songs on keyboard?
Yep, no, I do all on piano. I can't play guitar.
Have you had a formal training in keyboards?
I started just as a kid getting piano lessons, but I was getting sort of French lessons, riding lessons, dancing lessons, every other sort of lesson.
Well, so by your parents, you mean? Or
that's right. So when I was about 9 or something, I said, enough lessons. I want to get down to some serious stuff like watching television.
Do you regret
I stopped
that?
all my lessons, including the piano, and was told I would regret it, and yes, I did.
It was the same with me. I gave it when I was about 10 years old, and I wish I continued.
Yeah, because I then had to start again, and it's still not too good now, but when I left the band, one of the things I did was improve it a little bit.
When you write your songs, do you score them yourselves, or do you get someone else to do that?
Well, mostly they're not scored. Until they go to the publishers. We do most of it by tape and by ear.
Well, of course, about this time last year, the shock news hit us that you were going to leave Genesis, and most of us didn't believe it for a time. And those of us who did thought, well, he's going to be another recluse, another Syd Barrett. But what's happened since that time?
Well, first of all, I sort of got out of things for a bit and spent some time at home. And
where is your home, Peter?
It's in Bath, in fact.
I used to go to university there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a nice place.
Very nice place, yeah.
But I was able to follow up some things that I'd lost touch with. The late 60s was when I was a teenager, and so it was my formative period, and I was full of all that flower power and idealism and all the rest.
Why did you feel you had to leave Genesis, though?
I didn't like what I was becoming myself in that situation, and what I felt the band was becoming. I think in some ways that the success that we really wanted badly at the beginning had begun to get things a little stiff, because so much was riding on it now. It was so big, so many people involved. It was more difficult to persuade people to try and take risks.
Do you think The Lamb Lies Down, was that a risk?
Yeah, we were told to do a single album because that was what was needed in America. It took me a long time to try and persuade the others to agree to do it. 2 sides of one album, let alone 2 sides of 2 albums.
Yeah.
And I think there are still some weak areas in that and things we could have done better. But that and Supper's Ready are the things that I'm personally most pleased with, are the things I was involved with in Genesis.
Do you miss the early days?
No, I mean, I look back nostalgically, but I'm very much enjoying what I'm doing now, and I think they are too, so...
Well, of course, back with the early days of Genesis, all the songs were never sort of attributed to anybody, right. Just that all titles written by Genesis. How much did you actually play in the part of writing the early Genesis?
I did all.
Yeah, all is revealed now.
Or I did nothing, depending who you want to listen to.
Yeah, but why did you have that sort of system? Just so, didn't get at each other, you didn't sort of share out royalties penny by penny. Right,
no, I mean, we all used to do a lot, and it assumed that everyone was equally good at everything. And in fact, certain members of the band were had different talents and were better at doing certain things than others.
What's the original idea for each member of the band to have a solo album? I know Steve's had one out, but was the original idea to have everyone a solo?
No, at one point there was an idea, though, to do an album with sort of each person being captain for one track. But again, I think that sort of shows a certain misunderstanding of exactly why a band is strong, because it's often a combination. I mean, for me it was a balance between sort of sweet melodic music and some balls on it. And when it worked best, it had a bit of both in.
Well, of course, the lads have had 2 albums out since you've left them. How do you see them now? Do you like how the way they're progressing?
Yes, I think the double drum thing is excellent. I used to be a drummer, not a good drummer, but that really excites me when I see either Phil and Bill or Phil and Chester really sort of getting off. The album's much better recorded than the ones I did with them, I think.
How do you mean? What, production-wise?
Production-wise.
Yes.
The sound and the playing is better. There are certain things in the material which aren't always my taste. It's slightly more on the sweet side for my own personal.
Gone with the towns you have known from a child, along with the dream of a life. He travels the wide open road, the blinkered arcade, in search of another to share in his life. Nowhere, everyone looks so strange to him. He got no horns and he got no tail. He don't know about existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold? It lies in the distance, crying where there's no way to engage. These that can talk read their sign. The creatures they pushed and they prodded his frame and questioned his story again. But soon they grew bored of their prey. The beast that can talk, more like a freak or publicity stunt. Oh, 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 no, oh, oh. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't really know about existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold? It lies in the distance. He cried, he broke down the door of the cave and bugs ran out. Grabbed the creature by the scruff of his neck, pointing out.
Well, you were very much the front man with Genesis. A lot of fans sort of regarded Genesis as Peter Gabriel. When you suddenly left them like that, it really left a lot of them in the lurch. Didn't you sort of feel a little bit for the fans, or for the lads in Genesis themselves? Didn't you worry how they were going to carry on without you?
I didn't worry that much about the band, actually, because I knew what they could do, and there's some really good writing there still, and I didn't know they'd be able to do it quite so quickly and as easily as they did it. But I think, really, as far as the fans or the audience, whatever you want to call them, are concerned, if you're not really able to put your heart 100% into a thing, then you're selling them short in the end anyway.
Yeah.
And I felt my own heart was moving out of it. So,
Heart moved into this latest album. Tell us a little bit about the tracks on it. There's a lot of variety in it, isn't there? I mean, there's some which you can sort of associate with early Genesis, and, I mean, excuse me, with Barbershop in it, and the Dolce Vita with full orchestra. What are you trying to do at the moment? What's your direction?
North, south, east, and west.
Yeah.
I don't know. And basically, it was to focus on the songwriting. So the arrangements and so on, rather than to try and originate a particular sort of Gabriel sound, were designed really to illustrate the songs. And the reason for there being no lyrics in the album, there being a sort of a simple photographic cover and no costumes or projection, is basically to try and put more of the attention on the songwriting.
So on this tour, there won't be any of the theatrics that we're so used to in the past?
No, I do a little jumping around still, but there's no costumes or...
I think the fans will be disappointed at that. I mean, you're the father of theatrical rock.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but there are areas in visual presentation, if you like, of rock music that I like very much, and I think still haven't been done properly as far as telling stories with rock music. But at this point in time, I'm just interested in trying to build up a good relationship with people just on the music and on the songs.
How do you feel about the success of the single, Salisbury Hill?
Great. I mean, I think I felt that some of my tracks on the album are more suitable for singles than maybe some of the Genesis material. But
did you want that to be a single?
I didn't know. No, it surprised me actually that particular track, because at one point we didn't think it was going to make the album because it wasn't sounding very good. I would have chosen In Fact Modern Love, I think, which
Yeah.
I think is going to be a single after this now.
Yes, that would be a good song. Okay, well, Peter, you've just woken up, you've just had a shower, and you feel pretty awful that you want to write a hit single. And Salisbury Hill, well, how did that come about? Did it start with a melody or with the chords or the words or what?
It actually started with quite a few different sections, and I think the first one was this. And then I started getting a rhythmic thing, and I had a sort of like 3-time in the bass. Started fiddling around with that until I got some other chords, which were I think the line at the end.
When did the words come?
They came quite late. In fact, there was another set of words. It started off like stress, I think, was the now.
Well, where is your forte on writing the melodies or on the words? Which comes first? You know, which are you easiest at?
Well, often I'll sing along a melody and just fool around until I get some sort of melody that I'm pleased with, and then work on the words for that, and then tighten down the melody finally. But in this, you know, I had this idea for stress. You know, you've got me in a mess. Is there nothing I can do? Something like that. And it had a lot of other sections in it, actually, which I ditched at one point. In fact, it was rejected for the album initially.
What's the idea behind Salisbury Hill? What's the song about then?
Well, it's a hill just above where I live in Bath, and it's where I go up to sit and think.
Climbing up on Salisbury Hill, I could see the city lights. Wind was blowing, time stood still. Eagle flew out of the night. He was something to observe. Came close, I heard a voice, standing, stretching every nerve. Had to listen, had no choice. I could not believe the information. Just had to trust imagination. My heart going boom, boom, boom. He said, grab your things, I'm gonna take you home. To keep in silence, I resigned. My friends will think I was a nut, turning water into wine. Open doors would soon be shut. So I went from day to day. For my life was in a rut. Till I thought of what I'd say, which connection I should cut. I was feeling part of the scenery. I was right out of the machinery. My heart going boom, boom, boom. Hey, he said, grab your things, I'm gonna take you home.
Right, there's a local legend I could tell you if you like. The allegedly 9th King of England, King Bladud, was druid and necromancer, etc., and went over to Greece to study, supposedly under Pythagoras, where he was called Arabis. Then he came back to England and set up the first druid university near Bath, and built temples on the 7 hills around the city to different gods. And there was one on Salisbury Hill built to Apollo, and supposedly after his magical experiments, the only hot springs in England, which are in Bath, actually came from underneath Salisbury Hill. And he died, some say, trying to fly like an eagle off the temple of Apollo, which he built on top of the hill.
There we are, the legend of Salisbury Hill. Somehow in a way I think Peter misses his early storytelling days of Genesis. 9:47 on Piccadilly.
Piccadilly, hit music.